Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Keaton Coley. I'm the lead at manufacturing engineering at Hans Dairy. I know why I'm here today. I know we're all here today. We all share a common goal. And the thought that we're all sharing that goal with the rest of the world, we're aligning with so many bigger, I wouldn't say bigger, but just so many similar projects, such as China spending over $360 billion on their renewable energy program, a leader in the world at this time. Elon Musk, his reusable Falcon 9 Heavy, you guys all saw that. It goes up, delivers its payload, it comes back down, ready for action again, saving time and cost significantly for our space program. I think we're doing just the same thing, reducing in waste as we do. I would like to, that's exactly how we're going. So a little history about Hans Dairy from what wasn't covered is, we are a second generation dairy that's been running for over 20 years. We specialize in the South Asian flavor profile. And, just recently, about 3 years ago, we moved from a 7,000 square foot facility to a 25,000 square foot facility, which definitely, gets us in the ballpark, in the right size ballpark to do this sort of study, at that point. So, just moving from a smaller facility to a larger facility is a task in itself. I mean, coming into a facility, ripping out flooring, creating envelopes and creating necessary buildings that the food agencies or what other agencies require you to have, technologies. We knew that we wanted to make this expansion, and we thought, okay, you know what? We are going to use the leading technologies to make our envelope. For example, metal insulated panels, ISO panels, Kingspan, taking a regular R value of R15 to an R50. Right? You can't go wrong with that. It's a one-step shop. It's a stop. They just put the wall up. You don't have to paint it. It's washed down. It is just the right thing to do rather than drywall and bacteria coating paint. So we utilize the technology of that. Plus, our roofing technology is a special white roof TPO technology, which has been established in Europe for over 60 years. Very energy efficient. We took advantage of that, right? And so at the same time, we're going to take advantage of what Provision Collisions and the food loss program has available to us. So, again, aligned with Elon Musk is, provisions with their solutions to the real world effect of food loss, not just about the cost. It's about the environment, our footprint. That's really important, that really inspires us, right? And then also we have EnviroStewards with their highly technical evaluations and studies. They bring a proven team of professionals with fresh eyes, because I know my industry better, but I've been looking at it for the same time, and my eyes are just crisscrossed. You get some fresh eyes in there that know what they're doing. They're like, well, did you check that out? I know I saw that, but did you check this? That's great, because I'm busy fixing this or running that or buying this or fixing that, right? So I really appreciate Provisions and EnviroStewards. So to go into detail about what EnviroStewards did help us do is what we're all here for. They were able to come in and watch our process and diagnose key areas where it would be easy to miss that slide. You can see the rockets there, and China. That's China. They're going to get a lot better from now on. Don't worry about it. And so this is it. We need to identify our need, because no joke, I look like this guy when they came in and saw all the milk being hosed into a drain, the closest drain. We've got to identify our needs. We need to know where we're wasting, why we're wasting, what can be done, how can it be done, and when do we do it. Simple as that. And once you get the three answers first, you figure out the when and the how and the cost yourself. And that's, you need to just be pointed in the right direction. Right now, we've got blinders on. We're working to sell product, to increase quality, to expand our product base. But, it's what we leave behind. It's what's spilt on the floor that we should be concentrating on once we get the proper resources and assistance from companies like Provisions and EnviroStewards. So EnviroSource was able to come in and immediately say, hey, okay, look, there's milk on the ground. Let's figure out why that happens. There's milk on the ground over here, and there's milk on the ground over there. What are these 3 or 4 or whatever? What are these processes that are causing this? How much are you losing? Why are you losing it? What can we do to reduce it? Where can we reduce the loss? And if the loss is inevitable or uncircumstantial, where can we reuse it if possible? And they were able to come in and give us those, quantify the certain areas that we were losing or wasting product, and giving us suggestions saying, listen, you have, well, I guess the biggest, best way to put it is, I'll give you a little idea. You got milk in the line. We're processed. We're done. We want to clean our lines. We've got good milk in a long length of lines, 2 inches deep. There's a quantity there. There's liters. There's a volume there. Now what we do is we have a 5-stage CIP process, and the first one is a mechanical flush, just using water. Just push that milk out. Now when you do that, that milk and that water is going to commingle. It's going to mix, right? And there's some products we can actually use a mixture of milk and water for, and then there's others we cannot. So now it's like, okay, well, how much of it do you do per process, per SKU? Am I running this line? How much am I pushing water mixed? They measured, they came in, they quantified that. They added it up per week, then they added it up per year, and they gave us an annual volume, a cost to that. And then also worked with us to come up with a permanent solution, a temporary solution. But either way, we could start saving money, with a 0.2 rate of return, or go even longer and add pumps and fixturing and go on for the future pace. But another thing they really did teach us is how we overreach. It's plant design as well. Sometimes, listen, I can only put this here, but that means I'm going to need this much real estate to bring all my product this way. There's got to be a better way, because overall, if you're going to be using waste or cleaning this much lines, you want to reduce those lines as much as possible. So not only do we want to recoup what we lose now that everything's in place, but in the future it gives us ideas to think about when we're redesigning, when we're expanding onto what the causes are of loss, right? So that's it's not only addressing the problem, quantifying the problem, but it's also teaching you rules and examples of how to redesign the next time we go through this movement or plant phase, right? Just because it's so convenient to put it here doesn't mean that's always going to be the fact. Don't think about now. Think about the immediate future. How much you're going to waste because you thought this was the best place to put this equipment and then tap it into where you needed to. Tear a hole in the wall. Tear a hole in the ceiling. Bring the silo in. It sounds like a lot, but in the long run, it saves everybody's time and efficiency. So the next step after getting reviewed and getting a feedback from EnviroStewards, from Provision Collisions, setting your examples, they gave us some good feedback and previous experience on how they resolved these problems in the past. You want to think, okay, what are my next steps, right? And as much as we'd like to incorporate everything that all these saving characteristics. I mean, you can see that the first graph is our main recovery lines, and then they segregate from different SKUs, right? The point is that is the dollar amount of what is being flushed down the drain. I mean, it's bad enough we have to pay to make it. Then we have to pay to dispose of it. And it's not just the material. It's not the milk. It's the ink, the plastic, the truck drivers, the grass, the cows, it's all of that, right? I pay for the milk. And the milk has all that price included in it. So you don't see that breakdown. But it is true. There's a lot more than just the dairy footprint. There's also the transportation, the environmental footprint that's involved with that. So they were able to identify quite a bit of savings and quite a bit of lines. Now, they were able to give us an idea of technologies that we could use, right? So the next steps are looking into those technologies. Spring-loaded vessels in your pipes that separate the water from the milk. And as it pushes, there's never a water-milk ratio, or very little. There's never 100%, but there's very little. So now I can use all of that push as a milk, and I can put that away. And I know I don't have to measure how much water it's in there, or what kind of quality of percentages of ratios of milk to water there is. Other technologies are designing things differently. Like I was just saying, put things closer to where they're going to be used rather than piping, rather than stainless steeling, because you save time and money here, but over the long run, you almost break even quicker than you think you would. And then also there's also like assessing the qualities of the proposals. You can't just, oh, that's a great idea, let's try this, and then put it out in the market, and then people, this is not as consistent as I thought it would be, right? So we're gonna look into that as well. That's the one major question is, okay, so Enviro Stewards has come in, Provisions has helped you. What have you done? Now, again, they haven't come that long ago. It's only been a couple months, right? But there's a lot of things to consider. I mean, we'd love to jump on what is considered to save us money, and let's do it now rather than later, like Bruce said, because if you can prevent it rather than treat it, that's the ideal version. But we're at that, I'd like to say sweet spot, but sweet is not the word, but we're not too big, not too small, where everything is just, we have to pay for it right now. So once we get, because for example, the water milk ratio that we recover from our wash lines can only be used for a specific SKU. And right now, for us, that volume isn't as high as we'd like to. So, and then of course the milk has to be stored in cooler space. Now there's not a lot of, there's a limited resource for refrigeration. You can store stuff outside all you want, but if you gotta have it cold, there's only so much room in your fridge. So, if we have a SKU that can use this recovery once a week, to quarantine that, or to make sure, or to even store it in a limited space right now isn't feasible. But this is exactly what we're going to be. This is exactly why we did this, because A, the government was able to fund it. B, Provisions was very professional about it, and of course, Enviro Stewards were equally as professional. So we jumped on it, and I wish we could, definitely take advantage of it now. But we definitely have plans to take advantage. Well, we know we got it in set, and so don't call me, I'll call you. But and when I call you, you'll know that we're ready to go, right? Because we have the space, and the environment, and the tech, and the willingness, right? And the volume. That's all it is. If we sell, we can save. If we save, we'll sell more, right? So that's that.